back to Cheap and Green. Welcome to my dark and gloomy basement. This is where all the heavy-duty crafts and painting and sanding stuff happens rather than, understandably my dining room table. Last week I told you that I had been thrifting but online on Facebook online garage sales. And I wanted to show you one of the things that I picked up. This is an upside down bathroom cabinet. This usually would sell for probably over $100 at a Home Depot or a Rona, and I got it for $5, which is a great deal. Now it's in a little bit rougher condition than I was sort of hoping. The finish on the front is really bubbling. I don't really know why. And when I opened the cabinet, it smelled very heavily of smoke. So I've got some cleanup to do. What we're going to need for my project today is my tub scrub, which I'm hoping will take the smoke off, but at least will take off a layer of grime. Some tools, screwdrivers, scissors, X-Acto knives, primer, definitely primer because this is a melamine finish, paint, this is really good semi-gloss paint, and a variety of sanding, scraping, paintbrush, painter's tape, and so forth. And my glass of water because I have a cold and I might lose my voice at any time. So inside, rather than having to paint the entire thing inside, which is a lot of work and will take a lot of time, I was thinking that I might line the back with this wallpaper. Now I've had this wallpaper for years and years and years. I don't even know why I have it or where I got it from. But it is vinyl coated, so it will wear pretty well. And I'm hoping that I can do that easily. We were able to actually take the back of the cabinet off completely. It was only secured by tiny little finishing nails. So very, very carefully we were able to pry off the entire back of this cabinet. And that'll make the wallpapering job a lot easier. If it's stapled on, I'm not sure that you should try and do that. I think it's very likely it would just crack. So then you'll just have to wiggle the wallpaper or whatever paper it is that you choose inside the cabinet, and it's not really that hard. I have two wallpaper options here, and they're basically the reverse of each other. But I think I'm going to do the blue with the white pattern because this is a little antique-y on the background, and I think the combination with the white would just end up making it look a bit dirty. So I'm going to go with this one. So the first thing I'm going to do is, while it's still dry, I'm going to pre-measure basically what I need. I'm not going to be terribly exact, and I'm really lucky that it's going to fit the edges, so I'm not going to have to patch. Here I've got my pre-measured piece, and I was very lucky I didn't have to do much cutting, but it's really not that difficult. So what I have to do now is get it, well, wet. Not sopping wet, but I do have to put it in my sink. I thought it would fit in a bucket, but it's not going to fit in the bucket. So I'm going to use my laundry room sink, and you just have to use clean, warm water. And you're not going to soak it, you're just going to dunk it in, and then pull it out and then fold it in on itself, glue side to glue side, and leave it set for maybe 10 minutes. Here's the wallpaper that I have wet, and I've got the glue pressing against itself, so it's not going to go everywhere. I was really careful to try not to crease the wallpaper. It was not easy. Because the sink, it was just a little bit too small. So when you do this, try and find something that is the exact width of the wallpaper that you're using, because otherwise it's really awkward. So anyway, here we go. All right. So the trick is to try not to crease it, which I just did. And to place this down more or less centered. And I'm just going to use my hands and some basic tools. I used to have wallpapering tools, but they've disappeared. So I am going to improvise just by using my hands and just get the air bubbles out. You could use a ruler for this, like a plastic ruler. That would work great. You could probably use a sponge too. I just want to get all the bubbles out from the middle so it doesn't have that weird ripply effect. Start in the middle and work outwards, because otherwise you'll be pushing the air bubbles into the center. You can get wallpaper remnants, well, not really remnants, you can get discontinued rolls of wallpaper at any wallpaper store for really inexpensively. You could probably get some really high-end stuff for maybe under $5. I don't actually know. I've had this for so many years, I have no memory of where I got it. I think it might have been in my family home when I was little, like literally on the walls, and these are leftover pieces. I'll have to ask my mom. I was thinking of folding it over, but there's no way it's going to stick to this back, so it will always be coming up and it'll never really be clean. So I think we'll just cut it. So here it is, and I just need to let it dry. I'll probably let it dry for a couple of hours while I work on the doors. I guess they must have had a really steamy bathroom, because the paint is all sort of mottled and lifted in areas along these front doors here. And it isn't looking very nice, and I think because the paint is compromised, it will probably continue to bubble unless I address it with a fresh coat of paint. I have these little foam sponges, and I think that I could sand for a very, very long time before I actually get this to the quality that I want it to be. So I'm going to try my little palm sander and see if that might actually do. I'm a little concerned it might be too powerful, but that's okay. It was $5. It'll be all right. The little hand sander worked really well. It took less than 5 minutes and everything is perfectly smooth. So I'm really happy with that, and I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. You can see that these came out really, really great. I'm quite pleased with them. I was thinking with Cass from Organized Clutterbug with her chalk paint that this would look amazing with chalk paint, and you could even distress it like this as well. But I think because it will be in a bathroom and with all the steam, then I'm going to have to use a high quality latex semi-gloss, or it's just not going to hold up. I've done the coat of primer on the front of the cupboard doors. I still have to do the back, but I need to wait for this to dry so I don't mess it up. I'm going to be just putting my brush into a plastic bag and wrapping it up. I don't need to wash out my brush because I'm going to be using the primer again in probably half an hour. And so I'm going to just put it in here, sort out the noise, and just wrap it up well. And then I'm going to go and have some lunch. Here it is, tidied up with the back put back on. The wallpaper's all dry now, and we replaced all the nails at the back because they were all rusted. You can see we've added this piece of molding at the top. This is actually to help us mount it onto the wall. It was just mounted on screws before, just through the back, and that's nowhere near strong enough to hold something that's going to be this heavy and also filled with all sorts of stuff, right? Toothpaste and whatever. So the last thing we wanted is to have this thing come crashing down in the middle of the night. So we've added this piece of wood, and this will give us a really great nailing surface, and I'll paint that up once it's installed. Here, finally, is the finished cabinet. As you can see, I did change the hardware. I wasn't too fond of the other handles. They were brass, and this is mostly a chrome fixture bathroom, so I wanted something a little bit quieter and simple, and so I just patched up the holes. And this is the wallpaper. Let me show you inside. This is is what it looks like inside. The wallpaper turned out really great. I'm quite pleased with it. You can see the piece of trim at the top that we used as a nailing surface so that we could make sure that we got it right into the stud so it's good and sturdy. I've put one coat of paint on that. I may touch it up again. And I just cleaned up the inside. And then I've added these cute little decorative jars. If you're ever wondering what to do with all of those little rocks and seashells that your children always find every time you go to the beach, this is what I've done. Now, because we live next to the Great Lakes, I've labeled them with the lakes we've actually gone to. I'm missing 2. So we're going to have a very busy summer, obviously. So thanks for watching my $5 cabinet special, and if you want to subscribe, that would be great. Then you can make sure you won't miss any more episodes. And leave me a comment, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much. See you next time.